She sat in that courtroom with a cool, composed air like she had already mapped her way out, certain she'd be walking free and leaving the wreckage behind. There was a quiet confidence in her demeanor, as if nothing could touch her. But then the video played. In an instant, the entire room froze. The mood shifted, and silence fell like a heavy curtain. The truth didn't creep in, it slammed down like a hammer. 2 young lives, full of promise, stolen in a flash, and the evidence, undeniable, captured in a single damning video. Even then, she didn't take responsibility. Instead, she turned on the tears, casting herself as the victim, spinning a version of events where she wasn't to blame. But no one was convinced not. After what they had just seen, the video spoke louder than any excuse. It didn't leave space for lies or blurred details, laid out the facts with brutal clarity. And right then, reality hit her. She wasn't walking out. She wasn't going home. Not after what that footage revealed. Not after what she did. This is the haunting story of Mackenzie Sherilla, a teenage girl whose life looked like any other from the outside. She smiled in selfies, posted TikToks, and drove through quiet neighborhoods like countless teens across the country. But behind the wheel that early morning in Ohio, 17-year-old Mackenzie made a decision that would shatter lives. A deadly turn. A moment that changed everything and exposed the chilling truth hidden behind the teenage facade.
Deadly.
Authorities wouldn't call it a tragic mistake. What happened that morning was, in their words, something far more chilling, cold, calculated, and intentional. The crash itself was so violent, so sudden, it looked like a scene pulled straight from a horror film. But it was real. And when investigators retrieved the car's black box data, what they uncovered sent shockwaves through everyone following the case. What happened inside that vehicle? What could have pushed someone so young to such a devastating act? Mackenzie Sherilla seemed like your typical suburban teen. She lived in Strongsville, Ohio, a quiet, tight-knit town just outside Cleveland, known more for soccer games and cul-de-sacs than crime scenes. At school, Mackenzie was a senior, juggling homework, outfits, and a steady stream of selfies and dance videos on social media. She projected confidence, fun, and carefree energy. But beneath the surface, things were anything but simple. Her relationship with 20-year-old Dominic Russo, street smart, well-liked, always surrounded by friends, was far from picture perfect. Despite the age gap, the two stayed together through constant fights and emotional highs and lows. But friends say it was more than just a rocky romance. It was toxic, explosive, and by the summer of 2022, things had spiraled dangerously out of control. Then came the morning of July 31st, just before sunrise, around 5:30 a.m. Surveillance cameras picked up something strange in Strongsville's industrial district, a place usually silent and empty. At that hour, a silver Toyota Camry sped through the deserted area, far from the safety of neighborhoods. Behind the wheel, Mackenzie; in the front passenger seat, Dominic; in the back, 19-year-old Davon Flanagan, a friend of the couple. Footage showed Mackenzie slowly driving down Alamito Drive, only to loop back around. Then, suddenly, she hit the gas. The car accelerated rapidly straight toward the brick wall of an abandoned warehouse. Moments later, it crashed at nearly 100 miles per hour. The aftermath was devastating. The vehicle was mangled beyond recognition, its metal twisted and torn. When firefighters arrived, it was already too late. Dominic and Davon were gone, dead at the scene. What began as a quiet morning turned into a nightmare that would unravel one of the most shocking cases the community had ever seen.
No one's coming. No one's breathing. Bust that window out.
Alright.
Rookie.
You good, huh?
Oh my god, man. Who can hear my voice? Who's in here? Drivers, God. Radio, driver.
I copy.
Radio, they're gonna pull it straight on all three. Come here. Call him the plates. Let him pull it in. Oh my god.
Can you see her breathing?
She's breathing. She's breathing. Head's wedged.
Somehow, Mackenzie Sharilla made it out alive. That alone raised eyebrows. At first glance, it looked like another tragic case of teen recklessness, an experienced driver losing control to lives lost in a horrible accident. But when investigators took a closer look, the pieces didn't quite fit. There were no skid marks on the road, no evidence of a last-second swerve, no signs she even tried to stop. And while the car was nearly destroyed, Mackenzie's injuries were surprisingly minor. She was hospitalized. Yes, but conscious, responsive, and far from critical. Then came the real twist. Police recovered the vehicle's event data, recorded the car's black box, and everything changed. What it revealed was chilling. In the final moments before the crash, Mackenzie had fully pressed the gas pedal, accelerating straight to 100 miles per hour, and not once did she touch the brakes. There was no mechanical failure, no panic-induced mistake. This wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate act. But that raised a deeper, more disturbing question. Why? That's when prosecutors began unraveling Mackenzie's mindset. They combed through her text messages, scoured social media, and spoke with people close to her. What emerged was a dark and troubling picture. Her relationship with Dominic Russo wasn't just strained, it was volatile and deeply toxic. Friends described it as emotionally charged, unstable, and full of constant arguments. Behind the filtered selfies and choreographed videos was a storm brewing. In the weeks leading up to the crash, that storm intensified. Witnesses came forward saying Mackenzie had made threats, angry outbursts, where she allegedly warned she'd hurt Dominic. Now, with the black box data in hand and a mountain of digital evidence building, investigators were beginning to see the truth. This wasn't just a tragic crash. It was something far more haunting.
There was an incident that we believe Dominic may be involved.
What?
When was the last time you saw him?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah, everybody was home. Why?
Okay.
What happened?
You want to come out here?
Yeah.
Right now,
Okay.
All we know is that the driver, who was Mackenzie, is at Metro.
Right.
Okay. Hold on.
So yeah,
Just stay seated, please.
take your time.
Please,
There you
just
go.
relax. Take a deep breath.
That's
Take
okay.
a deep breath.
That's okay. You're good. Take your time.
Take a deep breath. Okay. The other two passengers, like I said, was Davion and who we believe is Dominic. Okay.
Okay.
From what Mackenzie told us.
Okay.
Okay. Both Davion and Dominic are deceased.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sit down. Oh, God.
Just sit down.
Oh, my God.
Sit there, that's fine.
Oh, my God. Why would this happen? Where were they going?
Why don't you have a seat?
We don't know that right now,
yet.
Christine.
But could we
Christine.
get somebody else for you at this point
Is there somebody, any other family
that we
members?
can contact? There you go. There you go. Have a seat. Take your time. Take your time.
Christine.
Yes.
Can
we get somebody else?
We're going to come in with you. Christine, we're going to come in with you, okay? Listen. Where's
Oh, my God. Why did this happen?
Hold on. Relax. Okay, hold on. Where's Christopher?
He's sleeping.
Okay.
He's sleeping. Oh,
Where's
my God.
Hold on. Where's
Oh, my God.
Just sit down.
Oh,
Sit
my
down.
God. I can't help.
There you go.
It can't be true. It can't be true. Why? What happened in the car? What happened in the car? What did they do? What did they do? I don't like her driving anyway. I don't like her driving. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what a fucking deer. Oh my God, I almost died. My dog died, my cat died, my best friend died. This is not right. This can't be happening. Please don't tell me this is true. Oh my God, could you just say they committed a crime and they're in jail? Can they be in jail? They can't be in jail. Oh, are you sure they're just not in jail?
Well, taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please.
You got it. You got it. Do you want my gloves? No.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, just keep your hands right here. I'm not gonna tighten these, okay? We don't want to hurt you. You good? Are they good? Thank you. All right. This cruiser right here.
Actually, he took her out of the car and we did not.
You have anything on these? No pockets, anything like that?
We'll have pockets, but there's a signature.
A former friend would later come forward with a gut-wrenching revelation. Mackenzie had once said she'd crash the car to end it all, and she hadn't been speaking in metaphor. She meant it literally. That statement alone sent a chill through investigators, but what they uncovered next only deepened the disturbing nature of the case. Surveillance footage emerged, footage that would become a turning point. Just days before the deadly crash, Mackenzie was caught on camera driving that same exact stretch of road, following nearly the same path. The eerie similarity wasn't lost on investigators. They believed it wasn't coincidence, it was a trial run. That video, combined with the black box data, revealed something chilling. This wasn't a rash decision made in the heat of an argument. It was premeditated, methodical, intentional. As the pieces came together, the case took on a tragic clarity, and perhaps the most heartbreaking moment of all came not in the courtroom, but on the doorstep of Dominic Russo's home. When police knocked on the door to deliver the news, Dominic's mother sensed something was wrong even before they spoke. The officers' faces said it all. Then came the words, her son's name. The moment she heard it, her knees gave out. She collapsed, overwhelmed by grief, her screams piercing the quiet of the neighborhood. It was the sound of a mother's world shattering an unbearable, irreversible loss. The case of Mackenzie Shirilla had now shifted from accident to horror. Story, a tragic reminder of how love turned toxic when mixed with intent can end in unthinkable devastation.
Kids being kids? Is it Dominic grabbing the steering wheel? Is it Mackenzie maybe speeding and say, oh my God, park out, it's late, I'm coming up to this, I better do something, and she goes like that to avoid an accident, not acting purposely, but in fact trying to avoid it? Is it sudden acceleration, panic? Those are all possibilities. We are really never gonna know what happened in that car, much less prove by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that she purposely drove that car. Purposely. It has to be established that at the time in question, there was present in the mind of Mackenzie a specific intent to cause the death of her boyfriend Dominic Russo and her friend Davy and Flanagan.
That morning, everything fell apart. Dominic's mother's world shattered in an instant, and with it, the hearts of everyone who loved him. The ripple of grief was immediate and immense, felt by friends, family, and a community stunned by the tragedy. Later, as Mackenzie Shirilla was taken into custody, the scene was quietly tense, heavy with the weight of what had happened. Officers gently removed a bracelet from her wrist, saying, taking this one off so it doesn't break. The bracelet, a calm voice responded, you got it? You got it. She was thanked, reassured. Just keep your hand right here. Not going to tighten these, okay? We don't want to hurt you. Even in that moment, as the handcuffs were placed on her wrists, there was an eerie calm. No shouting, no struggle, just quiet instructions, a nod of understanding, and the soft background of a community still in shock. One officer clarified, this cruiser right here, noting that someone else had initially removed her from the vehicle. Another asked, do you have anything like that? A standard question, but one that now hung heavier than usual. Given the weight of the morning's events, it was a surreal and somber sequence, mundane procedure unfolding in the aftermath of something unthinkable, a quiet arrest in a case that had already made so much noise.
This trial is a culmination of decisions made by one person, the defendant. Those decisions have forever altered the futures of 3 families, and of you also, Mackenzie. And your decisions forever robbed Dominic and Davion of the futures they had before them. If there is one thing that can be taken away from this case, as painful as it is this. Every decision we make is important. Every action we make is important. Regardless of whether the decision is a good one or a bad one, or the actions are good or not, the result is the same. The totality of the evidence clearly demonstrates that Mackenzie Shirilla acted purposely and intentionally in the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022, and her purpose was to kill Dominic Russo in Newtown, Flanagan. No reasonable fact finder could view the totality of this evidence in this case and come to any other conclusion. Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder. Court renders the following verdicts. Count finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder, to wit Davion Flanagan, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02a, is charged in count 2 of the indictment. Count 3, murder. The court, having had count 3 tried to it pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02b, as charged in count 3. Count 4, murder. The court, having had count 4 tried to it pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02b, is charged in count 4.
In the back of the police car, Mackenzie Shirilla's emotions flickered like a faulty light uncertain, inconsistent, impossible to read. At times, she sat still, unnervingly calm, gazing out the window as if detached from everything around her. Then, just as suddenly, the tears would come, quiet, restrained sobs that faded almost as quickly as they began. It was a ride full of contradictions, much like the case itself, a mixture of composure and collapse that left investigators taking mental notes. To them, her behavior said more than words ever could. By August 2023, Mackenzie stood trial, now facing the full weight of the law. The charges were severe. Multiple counts of aggravated homicide, among others including endangering the life of a minor. Since 19-year-old Davon Flanagan had no involvement in any personal conflict that might explain the crash, prosecutors were clear in their stance. This wasn't reckless driving, it was targeted, intentional. They claimed Mackenzie used the car as a weapon, turning her Toyota Camry into a 3,500-pound missile aimed with deadly purpose. Mackenzie chose not to take the stand. Instead, her attorneys did the talking. Through them, she painted a picture of heartbreak and confusion, arguing that the crash was nothing more than a tragic accident, a case of teenage recklessness gone horribly wrong. Her defense leaned heavily on emotion, casting her as a grieving girl with no motive, no reason to hurt anyone. They said she suffered from memory loss, brain trauma, and had no recollection of the events that unfolded that night. It became a battle of narratives: intention versus accident, weapon versus mistake. But as the evidence continued to mount, the question hanging over the courtroom remained: was this a momentary lapse in judgment, or something far more deliberate?
I'm devastated by the loss of Davion. The world lost a truly special man.
Be thankful that you're still alive and have a future, whatever that may be. Dom and Davion were robbed of their futures, their hopes, and their dreams.
For a moment, it almost seemed like her defense might halt like the emotional plea. The story of memory loss and teenage heartbreak could sway the outcome. But then the prosecution brought the truth to the forefront. Piece by piece, they revealed the chilling evidence that unraveled Mackenzie's version of events. First, the court heard testimony about a heated argument between Mackenzie and Dominic shortly before the crash, during which she allegedly threatened to drive them into a wall. At the time, it may have sounded like nothing more than dramatic teenage talk, but now, under the harsh light of a courtroom, it carried a far more sinister weight. Then came the surveillance footage days before the fatal incident, showing Mackenzie slowly navigating the same route she would later use on the night of the crash. Prosecutors didn't mince words. They called it exactly what it looked like: a test run. But the most devastating moment came when the video from the actual crash was played. No brake lights, no swerving, no hesitation, just a straight, violent violent acceleration into a brick wall at 100 miles per hour. The courtroom fell into a stunned silence. Whatever doubt remained vanished in that instant. The narrative Mackenzie's defense had built began to crumble. Though her lawyers continued to argue she had no memory of the crash, citing brain trauma and emotional shock, the evidence told another story, consistent and damning. The black box data showed full acceleration with no attempt to stop. Surveillance footage showed premeditation. Friends recalled threats in the weeks leading up to the crash, and it all painted a picture not of confusion but of intent. There was no jury. This was a bench trial, and the decision rested with Judge Nancy Margaret Russo. On August 14, 2023, she delivered her verdict, guilty on all counts. In her ruling, she declared that Mackenzie Sherilla acted with clear purpose, that she had made a conscious choice to use her vehicle as a weapon, accelerating toward that wall with what the judge called a mission of death. No medical emergency, no accident, just a deliberate act that ended two lives and forever changed countless others.